Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very distinguished head table, some very distinguished guests here in the legislature, from the legislature, the Tennessee Republican Party, and the Congress of the United States. We're honored to be here, and it reflects their presence here, reflects their support for what we do. We're going to call these folks up to ask them to make remarks, and we would, because of the fact that we got the late start because of the dinner, we'd ask our speakers, if they don't mind, if they could hold their remarks to 3 minutes. Our first speaker, come on up, Scott, is Scott Golden, who is the chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party. He has been the architect of our stunning election victories over the Democrats during his tenure in office. One of the best chairmen that we have ever had, and he certainly cares a lot about Campbell County because he shows up at every one of our meetings, and we like that. Let's give it up for Scott Golden. Come on, welcome you.
Thank you, Senator. I show up at these because of the food, by the way. That's not a secret. You know, I was sitting here, and for those of you that are betting, I will be under 3 minutes, or those of you doing prop bets, okay, we'll get there. So as I was looking it out over this beautiful facility, once, you know, no other place like it in the state of Tennessee, the only thing that I could think of is, wouldn't it be nice if the new ballroom in Washington, D.C. looked exactly like this room? This is what it... If President Trump needs a blueprint, this is going to be it right here. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. Let me thank Aaron. Thank you. Big round of applause. You guys know that when you're putting a dinner like this together, it is 24 hours a day for 2 months in advance of getting everybody in here and all the little details. Aaron, great night, my friend. Thank you. Give him a big round of applause. He and his team, I know they'll be introduced. Thanks to Ann Ayers-Colvin and Jane Chidester and Natisha Brooks. Thank you for all of you guys serving on the State Executive Committee. Only thing I will say this, and I'll wrap it up real quick. There is no better place to be as we start this 2026 campaign. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I think most of the Tennessee General Assembly is here. I've seen most of them here tonight. And they're all raise their hands if they're, William, I know you're going to be, but all the state legislators, thank you all for coming. We have one of the best delegations, best General Assemblies in all of the country. But it's not by accident. It's because we work hard and we elect Republicans. 4 years ago during the pandemic, think about the rights that we almost permanently lost. Right to speech, right to assembly, right to religion, Second Amendment, all of that was almost taken away. It was almost taken away again in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then we got it back when Donald Trump won 1 year ago. That's what this is all about. So as we start the 2026 campaign, bless everybody that's running for office. Let's make sure if there's a chance to elect Republicans, let's do it. Thank you for being here tonight, caring about our country, caring about Campbell County. God bless you. Thank you, Senator.
We're delighted that we have the Tennessee House Majority Leader, William Lamberth, here. William, come up. We're glad you're here. William and I serve together in the legislature. In fact, we see each other every Wednesday morning. We sit across each other at breakfast when we have breakfast with the governor. And I can promise you that you have a real advocate for the principles that we share in William Lamberth when we're in those meetings. Take it away, William. Let's welcome our majority leader.
Thank you. Well, and Chairman, I'll tell you this about Chairman Yeager. When I first ran against an 18-year incumbent Democrat, this was 14 years ago, I saw him down at a UT football game, and he said, well, young man, nice to meet you. And I told him what I was doing. And he said, you're running against who? And I told him, and he said, man, that's one of the last Democrats they got in y'all's area. You think you can beat him? And I said, well, Senator, only with a little help. You think you can help me out? And he wrote me a check on the spot. So I've always appreciated that. Thank you. By the way, for any of those candidates that are running, feel free to do that. They need your contributions. So look, I came down here for 2 reasons tonight, all right? Dennis Powers is a dear friend of mine, and he told me that there was a room full of some of the best Republicans in the dang state that were going to be in the best venue I'd ever seen. And I said, I got to see that. So I came because Dennis invited me, and I came because I heard that there was a room full of fantastic folks here. Guys, having visited with a lot of y'all tonight and just kind of worked the room, and most y'all didn't know who I was. You just treated me like family, and you welcomed me in, and you loved on me. Y'all are amazing. I'm dead serious about this. You got to be one of the best parties in the state, and I've never been in a venue this good. It is absolutely amazing. Yes, please give the folks here a hand. Y'all, we're the party of Lincoln, Reagan, and Trump. The values that we believe in that are small government and low taxes and high freedom, that's what Dennis and I fight for every single day down there. That's what Ken fights for. That's what we do everything we can to make sure that we keep the government out of your hair. And I'm going to tell you, it's crazy, some of the far left liberal ideas that we have to fight. Y'all, I carried a bill a couple of years ago, House Bill 1, that had the very simple premise that said no doctor can cut the private parts off of a child or pour chemicals into their body that would do the same. You know, we had to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court where we won for that idea to actually catch hold? It's crazy to me that we live in a world where the Democratic Party booed God at their convention a couple of years ago, that they believe in killing babies all the way up to the point of birth. And for any of y'all that are above a certain age, they'd rather go ahead and push you off into the great beyond a little early, too. That's the modern day Democratic Party. Now look, I've got a lot of my family that used to be good old-fashioned Southern Democrats. All of them have become Republicans now because their party left them far behind, bowing to the far left liberals in California and New York. So folks, y'all are extraordinary people because you are here tonight. You're here to, I hope, to support the fact that in Tennessee we balance your budget, your tax dollars every single year. That's something I wish we'd see D.C. do. And I'll leave you with just a couple of numbers. That budget is $59.7 billion at this point. That's your money. It doesn't belong to the government. It doesn't belong to some politician. It belongs to you. We've cut $5.1 billion in taxes in the last decade. That's during Dennis's time. That's also during Ed Butler and Lowell Russell and Dave Wright. They're all back there. $5.1 billion cut in taxes. At the same time, we put $4.4 billion into K through 12 public education to make sure our teachers got raises 8 out of the last 9 years. And we put another $4.3 billion extra dollars into roads. Because I don't know about y'all, I'm sick and tired of hitting potholes and getting stuck in traffic. Yeah. And we did all that without taking out any debt on our roads whatsoever. That's a big deal, y'all. That's my 3 minutes right there. I heard somebody's alarm go off. Thank y'all for letting me hang out with you tonight. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, William. I appreciate that. I'll give you another statistic before we get on to our next speaker. Since 2011, and that's the year that the Republicans took over the General Assembly, since 2011, we have cut taxes in Tennessee 56 times. William gave you a snapshot of that. Since 2011, we have cut over $9 billion in taxes. I agree with Ronald Reagan. We believe, Republicans believe, that you know how to spend your money better than the government does. And we have the lowest taxes in the nation. We don't borrow money, but we can do things that need to be done to help people in this state. And that's because Republicans know how to manage things. I'm proud to be a Republican and to be associated with you tonight. And I'm also very proud to be able to ask Dennis Powers, my good friend, who has snuck up here behind me, Dennis Powers, to come up to the podium to offer brief remarks. Dennis and I have the privilege to serve together. We've carried several bills together. It is an honor to work with him. Dennis Powers.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Yeager. Are you on that 3-minute limit too?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Hey, I will cut mine a little bit shorter than what I had planned, but I just wanted to I wanted to thank everybody for coming out here today. This is my stomping ground, so I really appreciate it. I always love Reagan Day dinners because we always get to celebrate two of my favorite presidents. Lincoln, I'll do a real quick quote of him. One time he was in a debate with Stephen Douglas when he was running for president, and Stephen Douglas called him Two-Face, and Lincoln looked at him and said, honestly, if I were two-faced, would I be showing this one to you? And Reagan, one of my favorite Reagan quotes was, Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July. Democrats believe every day is April the 15th. You know, we're very fortunate. We live in the greatest state and the greatest country in the world. We live in a state that believes in public safety and criminal justice. We live in a state that believes in election integrity. We're number one in the country in that field. We're in a state that supports law enforcement and first responders. We live in a state where boys are boys and girls are girls. We live in a state where boys, thank you. We live in a state where boys cannot play in girls' sports and they are not allowed in their locker room. We live in a state where you cannot mutilate and transition our children. We live in a state where we protect the unborn. And we live in a state where people are moving to because of our low cost of living, our low tax rate, and our low crime rate. We live in a state that has a 3.5% unemployment rate, $2.2 billion in a rainy day fund, and as William talked about a minute ago, a balanced budget every year. We live in the freest state in America, and we're going to remain that way because my Republican colleagues and I believe what Ronald Reagan said, government is not the solution to the problem, government is the problem. And I've been a Republican all my life. My Uncle Bill Powers got involved in politics when I was back in high school, when he was running for school superintendent, and he won. And I was out knocking on doors and handing out cards for him. And the state representative is the only office I've ever run for. Actually, I lost 3 times before I ever won. One time by 24 votes. But anyway, in 2010, I finally did win. And so I'm 8-3, which is good for a baseball team. Not too good if you're running for office. But in 2011, the same year that Alan Jackson was diagnosed with a progressive genetic disorder called CMT, I was diagnosed that year too. He's on his last call tour, but I'm not. I'll be running again next year in the August primary and in the November general election. We know in America that God's kingdom has been turned upside down, but in Tennessee, we're trying to make this world a little more like the next one. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting the Republican Party. And may God bless the great state of Tennessee and the United States of America. Thank you.
I believe that Mr. Dalton Temple will speak briefly for Congressman Chuck Fleischman. Mr. Temple. Oh, there you are.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Dalton Temple. I'm here representing Congressman Chuck Fleischman. Right now, a Democrat-led shutdown is taking place in Washington, D.C. Now, the government is shut down for a few reasons, but one very simple. Because Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer feels that you should be paying for the health care of every illegal alien here in this country. Under the guise of that shutdown, voters will go to the polls for Prop 50 in California to vote for the governor's house in Virginia and the governor's house in New Jersey just next week, all while Democrat representatives and senators are at home politicking for these races. Republicans win when rooms just like this work hard and go out. Rooms like Campbell County is the reason that we have the Republican majority we do here in Tennessee. We have to keep working, we have to keep fighting, make sure our commissions are red, make sure our state houses are red, our state senators stay red, and our statewide